Trophy live Instagram podcast edition. Today, I'm going to be joined by an incredible colleague, I guess if we want to call it that, an incredible friend, colleague. Her name is Baylee. Baylee has a really great story. One, me and Baylee go way back because we were in a mentorship together. And then when I found out what Baylee does for business, I was like, okay, this is my girl. This is somebody I deeply resonate with, and I love the work that she does. And then the special thing about Baylee, which you guys will hear all about, is that she does not just run that one really amazing business. She actually runs two amazing businesses and has created multiple streams of income from doing what she loves and what she's so good at. And I'm really excited to bring forward this conversation today. So I am going to are going to get yapping about all things holistic health, all things business, and how she's able to balance this lifestyle of running two very successful companies at the same time as living her dream life. Hi, Baylee.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. I'm so excited to be talking to you today.
Me as well. We had so much fun on our last chat, so I'm excited for this one. Can you see and hear me okay? I'm on my tripod, so I want to make sure.
I absolutely can.
Okay, perfect.
Amazing. Well, I just gave the people a little bit of an intro on what they can expect to hear about with you today. So I'm going to dive right in because what I really want is a little bit of context here. I would love, so your first business is in holistic health, it's in women's health, and it's in the type of health that I personally really align with is like, let's get to the root and not put a band-aid over the symptoms. So if you could explain a little bit about your background and how you came about into the knowledge and into the awareness of this and how you really did start your first business, that would be amazing.
Of course. So where do we start? We will backtrack to college. I know we bonded over, I went to college for kinesiology, and at this time, well, originally I went to school to be a nurse and love nurses out there, no shade, but I realized a lot of what I was learning was just like patient care of kind of like how to treat a patient and be a good person and professional, but then also just like a lot of medicine. And for me, I was like, well, I want to be on the preventative side of this. So I switched my degree to like Bachelor of Science, Kinesiology, Exercise and Fitness. But I feel like my early 20s brain, probably similar to you, I didn't really think like, what am I going to do with this? I thought maybe I'd go like OT, maybe PT, but then I thought probably occupational therapy, physical therapy, but then COVID started. And, I graduated in 2020. So at the time, like getting into like an OT school, PT school, getting your hours was a lot more confusing. Everything went online. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like write it out. I had a job as a personal trainer, and I quickly came to realize as a personal trainer, your income is quite limited. You either work for a big box gym, like a chain gym, I was making $13 an hour at a Anytime Fitness, which was criminal, working full hours. And then I did go the more private route. Like I worked at a private gym, and the private gym, I definitely was making more, like $30 an hour, but I worked very big, like split shifts. I'd be waking up at 4 a.m. And all throughout college, I worked at a gym, waking up at 4 a.m. And I was like, there's no way I want to be working these split shifts forever. Having an income cap, my only potential to grow was being a manager of the gym, which still didn't have a ton of potential. All the managers at all the gyms I worked at were incredibly stressed and always complained about being underpaid. Or I could go and get my PTOT, but by then I was kind of over going to school.
Yeah.
So I just started in the brink of COVID, especially because they had all those like restrictions, regulations, client wise. I'm going to take my clients online. So my health business very much started out online personal training, nutrition coaching at like the very most kind of surface level. A lot of people where like their only goal was to lose weight for aesthetic reasons. But behind the scenes, I had a lot going on myself with PCOS, which is now called PMOS, endometriosis. I never got my period. My skin was really, really bad. And I saw a huge gap in that industry where the only solution was birth control. But through the knowledge I had, I like just a lot of my degree, but also like a lot of self-study, reading books, etc. I was able to fix my own symptoms without birth control. And I was like, wow, like this is a huge thing that's missing from the holistic space, PCOS, endometriosis, period, acne space. So then I slowly started kind of adding that more into my kind of like basic training and nutrition business, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely does. And you know what I find so interesting about this is how often we go through either mainstream education or the typical information we're provided and then realize that it's leaving us to dead end answers and we have to go do our own research. And you have to
Yeah.
research a lot and then to be able to sift through all of the information because there's quite a bit of information that counters each other out there to figure out what really works and what doesn't. So as you were going through this and as you've been helping clients, what have you found to be one of the biggest challenges, but also one of the biggest um, like benefits of getting to work with this population?
Like challenges, as in challenges for them or challenges for me?
Oh, good question.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is answering your question correctly because I'm a little bit confused, but for clients, I feel like their biggest challenge is they don't know what, like they don't know the root cause. They get done a lot of blood work and the blood work comes back as normal when they're obviously not normal. Like I know that was me. I got my hormones tested through blood and they're like, "Wow, your hormones are perfect." I'm like, "Yeah, but like why haven't I had a period in a year and why do I have all this acne on my face?" And it's just like this dead end circle of your labs are fine. Even if they aren't fine, here's some birth control. So I feel like the biggest struggle is finding a doctor that has an open mind to also let you partner with someone who's holistic and just really advocating for yourself. You can't let them walk all over you. Like there were many times I even had to fact check my OBGYN because they didn't know what endometriosis was, which was crazy and insane. And these are people that you're told to trust. They have all the answers. Only listen to them. What they say is, true, right, and they're the gold star you should listen to. Don't listen to anyone else. Like that is pretty much what we're told, but half the time they have zero answers. So I would say that's the biggest struggle on clients' end of things is like really figuring out the root cause, and like functional testing is where a lot of that comes into play. And then the biggest struggle from my end working with that population, I think it really would be, so a lot of people when they go the Western medicine route, it's band-aids, quick results because they're going on birth control or metformin or GLP-1s, and they're saying quick wins. So I think the struggle on my end is really helping clients hold to trusting the process, because when you do heal the root, it takes time. It's not a quick fix. You're not going to see instant immediate results like you would with the band-aid. So it's a lot of coaching of like, stay true. Your body can heal. You got to like keep being consistent. The time's going to pass anyways because people are so used to that quick instant relief. But it's not a long-term solution.
Yes. Oh, that's such an important answer that you just brought up. Especially, I love that phrase, the time's going to pass anyway. So you can either take action and be working towards it right now, or you can say, oh no, that's going to take too long. And then the time's going to pass anyway. And you're going to go, okay,
Exactly.
I should have been working on it this whole time. So I really love that you brought that forward, especially trusting the process and sometimes even having the openness to be able to have that conversation and realize like there are other perspectives that you can trust when it comes to your health and your wellness. So, I mean, you guys, anybody that's listening to this that knows me knows that I stand 10 toes down on everything that Baylee describes here. Like, I think your work is so unbelievably important. And there's so many women that I'm sure get answers that they never would have had otherwise. Um, do you have any client results? It can be general or even one specifically that you can think of where you're like, this transformation meant the world to me to see from doing this work.
Oh, so I feel like I could list off so many.
Love that.
Humble brag,
Let's
but
brag
I mean, I
away.
could just list
You're
off a
awful over
few.
here.
So I have had multiple clients, but like I'll talk about one specifically where like they go from zero period. They're not ovulating. They've only been told to go on birth control to get a period, which makes no sense because that takes away your ovulation, to getting pregnant while working with me. And that to me is just like the biggest win because like IVF is so expensive. That's a whole other like I personally, this may be a little conspiracy-esque, but I personally think that like so many women, like birth control was pushed and it's, oh, such a coincidence now that everyone needs IVF and no one can get pregnant. But like the IVF industry is so, so expensive. And I understand it does help a lot of women as well, but helping women get pregnant naturally, a huge one, especially when they've been told otherwise by their doctor, like it's not going to happen. It's going to be really hard. You're going to need IVF, etc. I've had clients with severe acne. Not, and I always like to emphasize severe because I think a lot of women have one or two zits and they're like, oh, my acne is so bad. But like, no, your acne is not bad. I work with women with like actual bad acne. Like their life is so changed by it because their face is covered chin to forehead with acne. Completely clear their skin when they thought again they would need Accutane, spironolactone, birth control. So that's also another one that brings me so much joy. Um, Even clients I've had clients who've been on metformin, GLP-1, these like insulin resistance medications, who those medications worked short term. They lost a lot of weight. And when they went off, they gained all the weight back because they didn't actually figure out, how do I manage my blood sugar without a medication? To where they've been able to lose like 30, 40 pounds in 6 months. And like, I, I keep in touch with all my clients, I've been able to keep the weight off, maintain, or lose more. So many more that I feel like clients really getting their period back is one that really has a special place in my heart because was something that like I struggled with for a long time where like, even if you're 50-50 about having kids, you want to be able to have the option to have kids if you want to have them.
Yes, it's giving women the freedom to live their lives back. Yeah, that's so valuable. And for anybody that's watching this on Instagram, go to Baylee's profile. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I'll link it because I feel like you have a lot of photos of this is the transformation the client experienced. And I think they're really powerful to see the imagery because it's looking, like you said, at acne that's not a bad zit or two, but this is like largely hormonally induced problematic acne. And you can
Mhm.
see in these photos that you post the transformation, even in the way that they glow in these photos. So if you guys are listening and you're not familiar with her work, go to her page so you can actually see the transformation and understand the weight of what she's talking about here.
Well,
So
thanks for the hype up with that.
oh my God, absolutely. Obviously Baylee's a badass at what she does. Obviously she's great at what she does. So I want to use this opportunity to transition. You actually did not end your journey as an entrepreneur at this business of helping women. You knew that there was more you could be blessed in the world with. And so you actually expanded
Yes.
into a second business. And as someone that runs one business right now, I'm honestly in awe of that. I think that's really cool. So what made you consider the second business and actually bite the bullet to bring it forward?
Of course. Well, thank you so much. And I'm very multi-passionate girly. And for any multi-passionate girlies listening out there, if you want to start a second business, technically, I always say three businesses only because I have my health business coaching business, and I also do pet influencing. And that brings me like a good amount of money with my dog and Bunny, which is a fun fact. But so I would say maybe a year and a half, 2 years into my health business, I realized in the business coaching space, especially as a fitness coach, I'm sure you've seen this, things are taught the same way now. Things there's good business coaches now who don't teach like this. It's very much you join these big academies, it'd be like $10,000 for the most cookie cutter academy on planet Earth. And it would tell you the same thing. DM the crap out of people, annoy the crap out of people, DM them and they literally tell you to leave them alone. Get them on not one sales call, but two sales calls, and make sure you have their payment info so that they have to buy on the call.
I'm so triggered for my first year of mentorship right now.
Yeah, I can get so sassy with it because the thing is, like, that can work. It absolutely can work. And I don't doubt that does work for people. People have built big businesses off of that. But I didn't want to. For me too, if you are building your business in that way, as you scale, you absolutely will need a team. You'll need someone in your DMs, you'll need setters, you'll need people doing the sales calls. You will need a social media manager. And that's fine if you want that, but you will need a team. And right now, I don't want a team. I actually used to have a social media manager and she was great, but I like operating as a one-woman show for now. So I didn't see it being very scalable unless you wanted to hire a team, because out of every 100 people you annoy, maybe one person will get on a sales call. um, So also too, it felt so icky to me. So anyways,
Yeah.
my first business coach always told me that like, you don't need to post content. Content's not going to get you clients and sales. That's a scam. Like you have to post here or there, but that like the money came through the DMs and sales calls because that's how she grew her business.
Right.
But I was like, no, I'm going to prove that wrong because I was getting clients through my content. I was like, I'm literally getting clients through my content because I wasn't very consistent to the DMs because I hated it. So anyways, I found a way to really grow my business and I think people think they only can make 10K plus months selling, making money, but I was doing that in my health business. Now at the time, was I making over 10K a month every month? No, but I was making more than my personal training job ever could. And I wasn't doing sales calls. I wasn't doing cold DMs. So once I felt really good in that, then I started my business coaching business. And I think that was about maybe 1.75, 2 years into my business. And that's evolved so much too since that started. But I really do love business and I love helping. I haven't ever had a man business client. I love helping, but I just like working with women a lot. I think men can get really sucked into, I do think they probably do business and sales in different ways. I don't know, I'm not a man, but I really wanted to be able to help women who didn't want to go the sales call DM route build their business. And I do think there's a way you can do DMs and sales calls in a non-icky way, absolutely. But for me specifically, it's like content is like my main moneymaker, short form and long form.
Yes. Everything you just said spoke so directly to me. And that, you know what? That's why I love this because you are obviously so clear on who you help. Because I'm listening to this and I was like, yep, me, me, me. So even from the aspect of what you just said, you're practicing what you preach. You're like, yeah, content is how I grow my business. And I'm like, yeah, because you clearly understand the micro specific problems that your clients are facing. And that's so valuable because that's how you customize a program. And it's not the cookie cutter program that everybody else experiences that you talked about those massive academies running. And so something that you've also done in your second business. And so when I met you, this hadn't been like I mean, you speak for yourself. I don't think this has been a main part of the evolution of the business yet. But as I got to know you over, I think the year and a half we're in the same container, you did this really, really incredible and I'll even say brave thing where you really brought your faith as a massive aspect of what you were bringing forward. And God, I love that so much because it's so authentic. And so, what was that journey of bringing faith into the business coaching world and just allowing yourself to be like, this is me. This is who I am. This is what I believe, and allowing that to call people into your space.
Of course. So this was um a year and a half ago when I went to Tulum. That was like the big like
Yeah.
Courtney, if you're listening to this, thank you, Courtney. I feel like all the women at that retreat, Priscilla, everyone else, like really helped encourage me to make that transition because I was so scared. So for me in my business, it used to be a little bit more just like general spirituality, but as I grew in my faith, I at the time didn't see a lot of business coaches who identified with being Christian. Now, I will say there are a ton. I just did not follow any of them. They didn't really come up on my feed because I just like wasn't in that realm. But now there actually are a ton of them. I don't know if that's recent or if they were there before, but I at the time didn't really see anyone doing that. And I was really terrified to change. I mean, I didn't totally change my niche, but I did because speaking, saying Jesus, God instead of universe is really going to propel some people and attract other people, which is totally fine. But I was scared because I knew I was almost starting off at square one. So I do think when you have a big change like that, like I obviously had to attract new leads and new followers that aligned with that same kind of belief system. And I even have like on my sales page for my programs, like people can work with me who don't align with the same faith because I'm not teaching faith. Like I'm not a pastor. I'm not a preacher. I'm not teaching I'm not teaching faith. I just approach business through that lens because I'm a Christian. So I always say like anyone can work with me as long as they're not like offended by that language I use. But anyways, I knew I'd lose followers. I knew I'd lose clients and I lost a lot of followers. I did lose several clients, all amicably, like love them. And some of them still work with me in my health business, which is so funny.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, but anyways, I knew I was going to make less money. I knew I was going to be in a little bit of a struggle period for a while, but it was something that I had to do. And I would say, I know one of the questions, because I, asked you to ask me what questions you're going to ask me.
Yes.
And I know one of them was like your hardest moment in business. And I really would
Yes.
say last year was a big hit to my ego, a big hit to my income, a big hit to the engagement I was used to seeing, a big hit to the number of people I was used to seeing in my programs because of that shift. But I'm still so happy I made it's like I needed to do that. Um, like to be like I need to do that to be where I am now because now things are like back in the up and up. But I would say last year was like it was a hard year and I'd be very resilient.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I like that you brought up where you're saying, and it's retrospectively, you're like, yeah, that did hurt my ego, and I knew some of those vanity metrics like the engagement, the analytics, those were going to drop off a little bit. But what was your truth and authentic to you was more important than any of those metrics. And that is really what I wanted to highlight here because I think a lot more people need to hear that. It's brave and it's scary. And you can speak for yourself here, obviously, but like, it's also worth it to live very authentically with who you are. And so when you are going through kind of like the heat of being in the mud of transitioning, of the income showing the fact that you're speaking to a different person, of the analytics, you also moved states not too
Yeah.
different of a period of time during this. You got a dog, like, there's all these factors going on. How did you stay so consistent?
Okay. Good question. So I will paint a little bit of a picture, kind of like what you said. So end of 2025 and beginning of 2025, before I really made this shift, my business coaching business was doing like better than ever, like more money, like, and not that it's just about the money, but it was like more sales, more sales, more sales. Like I was having like my highest cash month. And then I moved to a coastal city that was like double expense wise. And my income was like cut in half. Oh, sorry. The dog's right here. That's a lot. My income was like, sorry for anyone listening on the podcast. My income was like almost cut in half. And it was a big WTF, I'm freaking out. Do I go back to what I was doing? But a few things. Number one, I'm all about longevity of your business. When I started my business, I had a very short-term mindset, get rich quick mindset. I did not think about the longevity. Now, I will say I don't have a 5-year business plan, but I understood me making this decision now. I might have a hard year. People think about hard days. I might have a hard year, but what is this year in comparison to I want like my business is my life, like a year means nothing. So I was willing to go through a year or so of struggles and not saying if you change your niche, you're gonna have a year of struggles. That's just how life unfolded for me. But I'm gonna go through a year of struggles and it will be so worth it. Also, to another thing to mention, I had multiple streams of income that I think kept me more financially stable. My health coaching business like was so consistent financially. I was making money from like pet influencing stuff. So that was obviously very supportive during that time. I think it's so important if this is more speaking to people who aren't single, but like my fiance, I have to say now, my fiance, I think it's so important to have a partner who is so supportive of your business and believes in your business almost more than you believe in it. Because in these moments where I would freak out, I also think, like, speaking to men specifically, they can be a lot more. I know Courtney and I were just talking about this because she posted about like men can be a lot more, I think, more neutral about money and they don't get as emotional when things happen, which is a strength of theirs. Not saying they can't be emotional, but I think they can be more emotionally grounding. And especially Chase, he's like the calmest person I've ever met. And I'm very like I don't say neurotic, but I'm not. He's very calm, very stable, very grounding. He has huge faith like in me, in God, and what I was doing. And like anytime I have a mental breakdown, like he would pray with me. He would like, remind me that like when if things not worked out, like you're doing this for a reason. Like this is absolutely good. Like he speaks so much life into me and my business. And honestly, like not saying if I didn't have him, my business would have fell into shambles, but like he really helped me keep my spark even when like things felt really hard. So I do think having multiple streams of income, having that long-term vision, a really supportive partner, but also one of my personality traits I've always had is like I'm very determined. I'm very consistent. I've always been that way. Like if that's in business, if that was in school, if that was like in the gym or when I used to do dance, like I'm a very determined, motivated person. So I personally have never related to people who really struggle being consistent.
Yeah.
Not saying I can't like actually, no, I will say I don't help my clients be consistent. Don't work with me if you want help with me, force me to be consistent. Um, in both businesses, I'm not here to like baby people and being consistent, honestly. Like I'm not. Because I've always just been very determined. So even when like crap hits a fan, like I have always just had it in my nature to just like keep showing up. So I think it helps. That's like a part of my personality.
Oh my God, I love that. Okay, so you summarized it so well. Takeaways are you didn't have all your eggs in one basket. So, like you said, you have multiple
Correct.
streams of income, which comes from having multiple skills that you've also curated. Like, I'm sure there was a learning curve with pet influencing and trying
Oh,
to
for sure.
create. Yeah, you went from that. You also had a really supportive environment in your partner and community. You had really a lot of support around you. And I think that that is so underrated as an aspect of something that can keep people consistent is obviously the company that you keep around you. Obviously your faith being a huge role and like the fact that you and Chase were able to come together during that and like, let's pray together. Let's continue to believe in this. It's so important from the grander scheme of how somebody is going to go level up their lives, win in their business, win in their life, win in their career. It's like, okay, you can be a really consistent, strong, disciplined person and make sure that you were setting yourself up for success with these traits that you may naturally have curated to be really great at. And so that actually transitions me into a question that obviously this is the walking trophy. So it's like how are we walking into the wins in our life? What does winning, this can be in life, it can be in business, it can be in faith, but in general, what does winning mean to you? And have you noticed that definition for you personally evolve over time?
For sure. So when I started my business, winning to me looked like 10K months. Stupid number everyone wants to do. That's what winning to me was like six-figure business. Winning to me was tons of followers. Like it was very vanity metric based. Now I'm not saying I still definitely have financial wins. I still definitely like want to grow my community, but those things are kind of like they're not the whole, they're not the whole point in my deeper rooted why anymore. So I would say now for me, it's really being able to, like lifestyle wise, winning to me looks like being able to live where I want to live, to not have anxiety about my bank account, be financially stable, continue to live by the ocean. And also like even though I'm someone who's very determined and like I put in hard work, I love the work. I also like if I want to sleep in, I want to sleep in. If I want to take the day off, I want to take the day off. And like having the freedom to do that. When I was an employee, I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, like I hated being told what to do. I hated to have to ask for PTO. I hated having to like go clock in somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'd say winning to me is like not ever having to do any of those things and just like pretty simple, just like live a peaceful, happy life where I wake up and I'm like excited about my business, having a lot of fun in my business. I know actually one of the questions I was thinking on of like if you played a sport in the past or whatever and like how that kind of translated to your business today. I did dance and I will always stay true that dance is a sport. I did competitive dance.
Amen.
Yes, because it's always like I feel like the crappy men who are like dance isn't a sport, but it was a sport. I was busting my booty doing dance. I did point, lyrical, jazz, and
Damn.
ballet.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's
Yeah,
super
so I
cool.
did all the dances, and then in high school, fun fact, I did show choir. But anyways, one thing that I loved about the dance, we want to call it academy, studio. My dance teacher was always super big on, you know what, guys? I don't even really care if we win. I just want you guys to have fun. I want you to be like the group out there having the most fun. You're not, because in dance, a big thing is like your dance face, always smiling and like having a very like dance face. But she's like, I don't want you to fake that. Like, I want you to actually be like smiling, having fun. And like, this is more about you having fun than like winning. And like, we would still win, but like, always ingrained in me that like having fun was the most important thing. And actually, when I was in show choir, it was kind of opposite. They were all about like, I feel like winning and not having fun. They made me dye my hair. It was very like everyone needs to look uniform and you need to win. And that's why I didn't do it long term, because I wasn't having fun doing it.
Yes.
But anyways, I feel like for me, winning is really just like having fun, being proud of my business, excited about my business. When people ask me about my business, I feel like, get super anxious because I didn't like my business. I wasn't having fun in my business, and like actually being able to like authentically rave about how much I love my business. Faith wise, I would say it's really feeling like I'm building my business more out of kingdom mission and using my God-given talents to truly help people. Again, more than just like obsessing about making a certain amount. So
Yes.
I feel like hopefully that answered your question.
Oh, it sure did. Oh my God, it sure did. And I need everyone to like replay that part you just said about having fun. Like you were talking about like the dance smile, but make it real. And then when you were in an environment where it felt forced, you were like, this isn't fun anymore. I'm not enjoying it. And then translating that into your business, where you were like, there was a point when I didn't want to talk about my business because it wasn't fun, but you were able to make your priorities, your values transition into a place where you love what you do. And when you love what you do, you magnetize in the people that genuinely want to be there. And that's a really, really important lesson that I think people need to take away from this. I'm so happy that you talked about that. I talk about that all the time too. It's like, make it fun, make it playful. We don't play enough as adults. Let's make it playful. Like, let's have some more fun. Okay, I love this. One of my last questions for you, because obviously you started as personal trainer, got into holistic health and wellness, still working in health and wellness, also helping people with business, also have your pet incomes. With everything, obviously you said you're a disciplined, determined person, but what role does your overall health and wellness play in your life as someone that is leading multiple legacies?
So it definitely is. And I mean, I feel like for any business owner who's like into health or fitness coach, they'd agree. But like it is the foundation of my business where like I personally, I'm trying to say this in a way that doesn't sound mean, but like I wouldn't want to work with someone who just was a lazy sat on their couch. Like I feel like it just really shows like you take care of yourself. And like it shows you take care of yourself. You give a crap about yourself. And like that's really like honorable when you go to hire someone. But anyways, I feel like mentally, like I need to be consistent in the gym to be able to show up in my business. I know we talked a lot about this on my like when you came on my live and podcast of showing yourself what you're able to do in the gym correlates to showing me what I'm able to do in my business. I used to go on the stair stepper. Well, I still go on the stair stepper, but a big thing I used to do was like when I'd be on the stair stepper, I'd imagine myself like squishing down with my feet, like all my doubts and limiting beliefs and like walking over them, like physically, like that is what I'd envision. Or when I would be running and like running a lot faster on the treadmill, again, I'd envision myself like, I don't know exactly the vision, but you know what I mean? Like running away from my doubts or running towards like the business I wanted to create. So I feel like embodiment wise, that helped me a lot as well. But no, I'm for sure like, I love my class pass. My apartment gym's really nice. Like, I need to be in the gym consistently. And I know that if I'm not putting the gym first, it definitely affects, like in my health first, it definitely affects my business.
I really appreciate that answer because, yeah, it's totally in alignment with the conversations we were having. And also, I just, in general, I really do believe what you said. If you are someone that's taking care of yourself, that is you being someone you respect, but also others respect. It's like if you want to lead yourself first. You're not going to lead other people if you're not leading yourself. There's going to be a gap in the energy. People are going to feel it, and it's not going to lead to the potent results that you know you're capable of creating. So I really, really value that answer. And then,
Sorry, one
okay,
thing I'm gonna add on to that too is I feel like it's so important to be like the living, breathing embodiment of your work. And even like as a business coach, I'm not helping people like get fit, but I do think that people like to watch and buy from, okay, this is gonna sound really terrible at first, but I'll explain like attractive people of like when you look good. And I don't mean you need to have lashes done, nails done, wear the most expensive clothing, but like when you look healthy, you look like you take care of yourself. If that, you know, it doesn't matter if you're like skinnier or like more fit built person, whatever. I just feel like people like subconsciously they want to watch those people. You're appeasing to the eyes. Like they want to learn from those people because again, it just shows like you're the living, breathing embodiment of your work. They want to almost become more like you in that way. Um, and so anyways, I don't know what I was going with that, but it's just like being the living, breathing embodiment of your work. I feel like it's just like so important in that way too.
Yes. And I completely agree. Like whether we like what you just said or not, it is the truth. It is the truth. And personally, I do like that because it holds you to a standard. Like you can't catch yourself falling short in your personal life and then creating this extraordinary empire of people to follow. Like take care of yourself, show the world that you care about yourself by showing up for yourself. And that can be by sharing when you personally are like sharing a Bible reading, like, oh, she's taking care of her faith. When you show that you're working out, oh, she's taking care of her body. When you show that you're eating healthy food, oh, she's taking care of her mind, she's taking care of her energy. Like when you can show yourself as someone other people either value or aspire to be, that's creating an entire standard and a motivation within your circle for the people that are paying you to work with them or the people that are following you, that you become somebody that people are like, that motivates me to be better. And that's why I think that self-leadership is so important because when you are leading people, you help them lead themselves too. And that starts with the way that you show up for yourself. So I actually really, really appreciate and value that you added that. So for those familiar with this world over here of the walking trophy, you guys have heard of the concept of a game day. And a game day is where you set these big, stretchy, ambitious goals in your business that feel so good to visualize in your mind. Even though saying them out loud can be a little bit terrifying, it's a goal that stretches you and that pushes you for the edge of what you feel like is possible for yourself and the success and the impact that you want to bring into your world. So, Baylee, as we conclude our time together, do you have any game days in your business that you are either bringing forward right now or that you're going to be bringing forward before the end of the year?
That is a good question. And when I read it before coming on here, really made me think because I don't think I really have. Whoa, I just hit my tripod. I don't really think I have like I need X amount of people in a program by X date. But I will say two things that I'm really focusing on. We'll say, well, okay, with my businesses, I have so many different things, but on YouTube, I started posting on YouTube this year. YouTube to me is something that's always been really scary to post on. I don't know why, because like I post on TikTok and Instagram all day long, but YouTube to me, and like I have my podcast. YouTube to me was scary. This year I really started conquering it. I was posting so consistently on YouTube. I did take maybe like a month hiatus this summer, but by the end of the year, I wanted to have at least 1,000 subscribers, which in the YouTube world, 1,000 subscribers is a lot different than like 1,000 followers on
Big deal.
Instagram. So that was a big goal of mine with 1,000 YouTube subscribers by the end of 2026. I say that's more like metric goal. Something actually I shared today was I had a launch for a program called FTL, which stood for like full-time living, helping people make a full-time living, doing what God called them to do. And it was 3-month academy mastermind. And I actually and I just made a post on this. I've always been someone where I follow through with all my launches. Like I'm a very big, like, hold the energy for all my launches. I've never given up on a launch, but sorry, it's a little bit of a tangent, but it fits with what you said. The last 2 weeks, I was feeling just really like weird about it and almost like, should I not follow through on it? And I did a lot of praying about it. And a big conclusion I kind of came to is I'm somewhere I love evergreen programs. I don't like doing cohorts. For me, it makes my business a little bit more complicated because you need to get X amount of people in by X date, do quarterly launches. And with my other businesses going on, it added on a lot more complexity and honestly stress thinking of, wow, I'm going to have to do all these launches, throughout quarterly. So I made the decision to combine FTL with my membership. So that's newer.
Oh.
I guess you could call it a game day of sorts. Because I merged those together today, which was a fun little situation. But it feels so much more aligned because I don't know about you, but like I'm a very much evergreen girly. Outside of like micro offers, I like to know that I can always make sales and I don't have to have like a big influx of people in and out. So combining of those happened today. So my clients inside the membership are getting like so many more exciting things that come with FTL. So that happened today. And then really just like for my pet influencing, for anyone listening with a cute animal, there is a lot of money in the pet influencing realm when it comes to brand deals, UGC, affiliate money. Even when I had less, I don't even know, maybe like 7,000 followers on TikTok, I was making $2,000 a month just off
Really?
posting my dog. Yes. And and I will say animal pages are far easier to grow. Now that doesn't mean you can't just post like any cute video. Like you still need a very much a personal brand, and like you can't just be posting just random cute videos of your pets, but it grows a lot easier. And there's a lot of money in the pet influencing space. Especially if you already have a business and you have a mind for like being able to sell things. Because a big thing when it comes to brand deals that like I feel like I sell myself on is like I've made multiple six figures for myself. I know how to sell. So like I can sell your product good in my video. And for that, like I can be paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for videos. So anyways, all of this saying taking that more seriously because it is a very profitable income stream. And I have a lot of fun doing it. So I know that maybe doesn't answer your question specifically of like maybe X amount of people or X amount of dollars by a certain date. But I would say those are like three main things that I'm really focusing on.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? It doesn't have to be a specific number. It absolutely doesn't have to. Like those are the intentions that you're growing into. And fascinating, first of all, about the pet influencing space. I'm like, I just got a bunch of chickens and I feel like there is a gap in the market that we could be filling in with some chicken influencing.
I didn't
Like,
know that
let's
you had
do it.
chickens. That's so fun. I love that.
Yeah, we've
Probably
got
is.
too many chickens out here, but I love them. They're so weird and adorable. So I really appreciate everything that you've shared today, Baylee. Obviously, you said that you changed something from being a live launch into an evergreen offer. So if people are absolutely fascinated with you, which they should be, and they're obsessed with you, which they should be, how can they get involved in your world from the wellness perspective and from the business perspective, and where can they find you?
Okay, such a good question. So for this, if you're on Instagram, it's attached to my Biz by Baylee. So for my business coaching business, Biz by Baylee, Instagram, and on TikTok. And I would say I do have a free community called the Crown Club. So if you are a entrepreneur who loves God and is taking growing your business seriously, I would start there. Otherwise, I have the Crown Collective. This is like my main signature offer now that I merged it with FTL. So this is a month-to-month membership where I help women build their kingdom mission so they can make a full-time living. So you can just go into like the link in my bio or DM me CC for Crown Collective to learn more about that. And then in my health business, I would say two things. Number one, if you are like having acne, bloating, irregular periods, all these weird little symptoms going on, I actually just made a root cause archetype quiz because a lot of times, again, like I said, women cannot figure out the root cause. So this is what you do before functional testing. Because I understand not everyone has access to functional testing or before they'd want to like fully commit to that in a program with me. So take the quiz and then I have it kind of separate you into 4 different root cause archetypes of what could be causing your symptoms. And then from there, I have various different programs you can apply for using link in my bio.
Amazing. And I will make sure to, guys, that those links are in the podcast show notes if you're listening to this on the podcast. And then you guys will be able to find her in the caption, obviously, for this Instagram live. So, Baylee, this has been so great. Thank you so much for sharing everything, opening up about your story, letting people have such an insight into what it's like to grow and develop not one business, not even 2 businesses, but honestly 3, and what goes on behind the scenes in terms of the human you have to be and creating the community and having that faith to lead the way. So I really appreciate you jumping on the Walking Trophy today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. We had so much fun. I feel like we could make so many more podcasts talking about things.
Yep.
But I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. All right, guys, I'll catch you for the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.